Russian troops are making slight advances in an industrial zone southeast of the besieged town of Avdiivka in Donetsk Oblast. The US-based think tank Institute for the Study of War, ISDU, said in its latest report. Russia has intensified its offensive against Avdiivka, a frontline town on occupied Donetsk's doorstep, since early October in an attempt to encircle the settlement in a costly campaign. Geolocation footage from December 6 has confirmed that Russian offensive operations achieved limited success in industrial zones. Ukrainian forces counterattacked near Avdiivka the same day, and geolocation footage confirms some Ukrainian advances on the embattled Stepov on the northern side of Avdiivka. Fighting also occurred in two other cities that were mostly destroyed in the eastern region, namely Mariinka, which is controlled by Ukraine, and Bakhmut, which is controlled by Russia. Ukrainian armed forces fighters destroyed at least 3 Russian invader tanks with kamikaze drones. This was announced by the Telegram channel Flying Skull by publishing a related video. The video was edited from footage taken of the munitions barrage itself, striking enemy tanks in completely destroyed settlements and controlling drones. We counted a total of 6 attacks, but each tank had 2 drones. At the end of the video, you can see how badly one of the tanks was burned. The video shows the insignia of the 110th Separate Mechanized Brigade of the Ukrainian Armed Forces, named after Colonel General Mark Bezrutko, which fought north of Avdiivka. Earlier in the day, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said Russian forces were stepping up their attacks, but expressed confidence that Ukraine would defeat Russia and win a just peace. In the last 24 hours, Ukrainian aviation carried out 11 attacks on Russian military personnel, equipment, and vehicles, including 1 attack on a command post and 3 attacks on an anti-aircraft missile system, as the General Staff of the Armed Forces of Ukraine reported in its report, Daily Evening Summary. Ukrainian missile forces targeted a Russian helicopter, an anti-aircraft missile system, 3 areas with personnel and equipment, an ammunition depot, and 2 artillery pieces. Russian troops have been trying for weeks to encircle the city in the eastern Donetsk region that has become a symbol of Ukrainian resistance. With the Ukrainian counteroffensive that began in the summer now over, this new intense phase of the Battle of Avdiivka is strong evidence that the overall initiative is shifting back to Russia, which is now reportedly stepping up offensive operations in other areas, including near Kupiansk in Kharkiv Oblast, Marinka, and near Bakhmut. Although their advance in the region has been slow and costly, Russian forces have, according to open-source assessments, crossed the railway line north of Avdiivka towards the small village of Stepov. With no signs of the offensive slowing, comparisons with the long winter campaign in Bakhmut, where Ukrainian forces found themselves in an increasingly precarious position inside the city due to Russian attempts to encircle it, look increasingly valid. Operators of NSU unmanned aerial vehicles in the Kherson direction destroyed 9 cars. The new generation S-350 Vityaz medium-range anti-aircraft missile complex, the OSA-10 automated air defense system, and 3 radio-electronic warfare antennas of the Russian invaders. The press service of the Command of the Southern Operational Territorial Unit of the National Guard of Ukraine announced this in its media resources, publishing a video of the destruction of the S-350 Vityaz air defense system. The video was edited from footage taken by the kamikaze drone hitting the air defense system and the control drone that recorded the shot. Over the past few days, Russian forces have regrouped in preparation for a second attempt to attack Ukrainian strongholds north of the chemical plant. Ukrainian fighters reported that the Russians did not use any equipment to transport their personnel to the line of contact due to the low survival rate of these vehicles. That is why their personnel carriers at best transport their soldiers to the outskirts of Krasnohorivka, from where they walk to their positions on foot. Ukrainian fighters also reported that Russia was massing troops on all tree lines, not just along the line of contact. The Ukrainians usually wait until a new group arrives at the location and then shell the area with cluster bombs. This typically forced the Russians out of their shelters to help injured personnel, exposing more troops to Ukrainian fire. Ukrainian drones have destroyed Russian main battle tanks around the devastated Donetsk town of Bakhmut. In a clip shared by Yuri Fedorenko, commander of Ukraine's Achilles drone company in the country's 92nd Assault Brigade, on Tuesday, a first-person view, FPV drone zooms directly at an object that appears to be a Russian T-72B2 tank. The feed then cuts to the moment the drone hits the tank, before the video cuts to a clip of what appears to be the smoldering remains of the vehicle. As Ukraine launched a counterattack south of Stepov, Russian forces decided to attack the settlement itself. Ukrainian fighters released videos showing how artillery crews coordinated with reconnaissance drone operators and wiped out the Russian attacking units one by one. The drone uses a thermal camera, so all the white dots you see are Russian soldiers. Overall, Russian attempts to improve their tactical position were unsuccessful, and although Russian forces initially succeeded in breaking through the defensive positions south of the village by overwhelming the Ukrainians with manpower, until the Ukrainians ran out of bullets, the exhausted and degraded Russian units lost all ground to the first Ukrainian counterattack, while the Ukrainian defense at Stepov never succeeded, even allowing Russia to gain a foothold. Ukrainian Commander-in-Chief Valery Zaluzhny reported that more than 10,000 Russian troops had died in action in the Avdiivka region alone, while more than 100 tanks, 250 armored vehicles, and 7 Su-25 fighters had also been destroyed.